Yes, sir.
Thanks. Fun, huh? Have you seen the whole thing?
Yeah. It was one of those things that somebody passed along to me just because.
Viral, it went viral.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm one of those people. One of my assigned beats is The Walking Dead, and so somebody sent it to me the one day with nothing but the caption, "What the hell is this?"
No, it was fun.
Hey, I haven't sat down yet. Don't start.
I'm not actually talking about it. I got sent it, and I thought it was very funny. Just talking about the lip sync.
Oh, okay. What's up, man?
You're here now.
How are you, Robert?
I'm early this time.
Yeah,
Where's Scott at?
Scott.
How are you, man?
Not too bad. Are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
We should really wait for Scott. We can't start without him.
No.
Go ahead.
He's been late to every table, can I just say?
We started without Norman last time, although we kind of did it accidentally. We just started chatting and it evolved.
That's like us on the show.
What got you creatively energized for this season? What was sort of like the turn where you said, "Oh yeah, we got a shot to like equal what we just finished"?
Sure. For me, The Walking Dead is about building. You're starting out on season 1. It's very cool. You get to do cooler stuff in season 3. You get to do cooler stuff in season 2 and season 3. By the time you get to season 4, the world is changing. The characters are changing. I feel like Carl is getting a lot more interesting. I feel like Rick is getting a lot more interesting. I feel like there's very cool stuff coming up from Michonne. I can't specify, but I know the things that we're picking and choosing from the comics that we're getting to, and so when we sit down to work on season 4, it's like, oh, we're finally going to get to this, and oh, people are really going to crap when they see that we're doing this. So that stuff is really exciting. I just get really energized, knowing that we've been doing this for 4 years now, and we're going to get to tell this story. I mean, this is the zombie movie that never ends. It's about these characters growing and changing over time, and watching Rick Grimes go from being this small town sheriff to being this grizzled maniac. And we're actually getting there in the show, which is really, really cool.
Well, you mentioned the difference between the comics and the TV show, and you still take elements from there, and one of the biggest changes was the survival of the governor in the TV show.
Yeah.
What was that decision? What made you decide to do that?
Something about that actor. We liked him. I don't know.
He's cheap.
He's not. Unless I've heard wrong. But no, I mean, it's you never want to do the expected, and I feel like a lot of cable shows will bring on a fantastic actor like David Morrissey and do a really cool character like the governor, and it's like, all right, great, I can't wait to see how this guy dies or is written out of the show at the end of this season, and it becomes this cable show trope. And the fact that we're able to keep him on the show and do more cool stuff with him, I think keeps people guessing and keeps us doing new and interesting and crazy things. And I think that when you see what we do with him in season 4, you'll be like, oh yeah, no, that is exactly that is great reason to keep that guy around. It's going to be some really cool stuff. Get over here.
Are you anticipating not coming back at some point because of the character's sort of other horrible fate, and then how did you react when you knew oh, I get to stick around?
The one thing about working on The Walking Dead is you learn not to anticipate anything. You know what I mean? It's that thing. You wait for each episode to come out, and you're alive. It's just such a bonus. I love working on it.
You guys ever reading those scripts?
So you do. We all disappear to our trailer, and then we come out, and there's one door still closed, and we're like, oh. It's always like that. But so it is. But I actually think that frisson is what adds to the show, because no one's safe. That's the truth we live in. Is that you don't want to have a show where it has this premise and then all the leads are always alive. You can't have that. But it's just such a buzz to do. And actually, when once I got to episode 316 and I read the end of it and I was still alive, I was so happy, because I love working on the show. It's great. And this season is exactly the same. I mean, it's been such a wonderful season so far for us to film. It's just great. What they're coming up with is very surprising. I think that's the main thing in season 4, is you'll be very surprised by many of the characters' development. People do things where you think, God, I would never think of it. And that's what I love about it. And other characters that maybe have been less at the forefront of the stories in the past, they step up and they just great. And, for me, as an actor, seeing some people come up and do some great work. I mean, just brilliant work. It's wonderful. You're in for a great treat.
Because David just said no one's safe on the show. Do you feel like there are certain characters who maybe are untouchable? Like, say, if you actually tried to kill Daryl, fans would flip out. And is that a little different on the show, maybe, than in the comic book, where they aren't played by flesh and blood actors?
No one's safe.
Readership doesn't have quite as much of an attachment to them as on the TV show.
I get a lot of hate mail every time I kill any character in the comic, which always aggravates me because I'm like, it's been 100 issues. Don't you know how this is by now? Like, what are you doing? But specifically about the Daryl thing, that fan reaction is going to get him killed because I feel like it's a dare.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, oh, really? Really? You're going to riot? All right, we'll see. We'll see.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. I mean, we might be unsafe afterwards.
Yeah, is there a case
Sure.
where AMC would then say,
We
hey,
may ruin the show.
Oh no, I'm talking about. I'm talking about physically unsafe. I'm saying like we're threats of riots. Maybe storefronts are unsafe, but no one's safe on the show.
Last episode, everybody dies.
It's the episode before the last episode.
Yeah,
The last
Yeah.
episode's just trees blowing in the wind.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But then a tree falls, just like that's the end. And, oh
No
no!
one hears it.
Yeah.
Just make a sound.
All right. That's what breaking story is. That's what we do.
Oh, we fixed it. We got it.
In the beginning of last season, the governor, he was a villain, but also at the same time, you're like, oh, he's just looking after his people. And by the end, he's just downright scary.
He was looking after his people in the end. What are you talking about?
Well, at the very end.
When you're going after Andrea, that was very
Yeah.
intimidating, to put it nicely. But if we're going to see that ramp up again in the next season, when he's just going to kind of, now that he doesn't have Penny or Andrea in the town.
I think the thing is that at the end of the third season, he was in a very psychotic state. I mean, I don't think he dealt with that in any lightness. He didn't do the action of killing his town folk without consequence. And what happens in season 4 is him dealing with those consequences. And how he deals with them, whether he deals with them in an even darker way or whether he can't deal with it or whatever, we'll have to wait and see. But he doesn't. He's not able to wear it lightly. It takes its toll on him, but it costs something inside him. And you have to wait to see what that cost is. We don't treat, the characters don't do the violence and just walk away without any emotional impact on them. It all has a cost. And, some of them wear it well, some of them don't, but it definitely has a cost on them, and it has a cost on him.
Now, was it a pleasant surprise for you? I mean, you not only get to the end of that script and find out that you're still alive, but then you're a series regular next season. So theoretically, you don't come back and get shot in the first episode. Theoretically.
What? Every minute you have on The Walking Dead is a bonus. I love it. And all the actors will tell you the same thing. It's a great show to work on. It's a show where you never open a script and think in a negative way, how am I going to do that? How am I going to make that work? And as an actor, sometimes you get scripts and you think, no one talks like that. How the hell am I going to make that work? You never have that dilemma. Your dilemma is you're looking at the right and you think, how am I going to release this? How am I going to get this off the page? What am I going to bring to this? It's down to you. You get given a present and now you have to use it. And that's what the challenge of the show is. So every minute you're on that set is a bonus for me and for all the other actors. And I was asked last season about the show and I said, you know what? I'd make the tea on this show. I would actually get there and make coffee for it. I love being there. I know it sounds like a crap actor talking about it, but it's absolutely true. I've been on many shows in my life. On this show, just this, and it's not even a plan. It's just the way the stars fall with it. It's just falling away in a way. I mean, it starts with Robin, but all those elements all along the way. And for me and my department, it's Andrew. It's Andrew Lee. Andrew leads from the front. When he goes to work in a way that is so committed and so all-encompassing. He doesn't close off from people, and he leads from the front, and he sets you an example as the leading actor of the department, and that is great. So no one comes onto the show and sees the leading actor sort of not turning up or sort of, giving, bad time to people or sort of being discourteous. He's absolutely professional and wonderful. And then the cameras turn and you think, this guy's brilliant. So you've got to step up to that, and all the actors feel that. So it's led by him.
last season we split between the prison and Woodbury a lot, and now that Woodbury's gone, but Governor's still around. Are you going to split a pretty even time to show his journey? Obviously, there'll be some interaction when they eventually come together, but
I think there's going to be a similar element done in a very different way. So there will be almost a new format to the way the stories are told, in the same way that season 3 had a new format. That's all we'll say.
Robert, for you to have gone from a guy who
Puppet show.
loved comic books and pop culture and horror
To a guy who hates comic books and pop culture.
to a guy who got to live
king
that
of
dream
pops.
and have a job in that industry, and then the TV show, and beyond, work on the TV show. Now to come here and see your creation on the sides of buildings and zombies, in tribute to your show, wandering through the exhibit hall. What's that sensation like to have truly lived that portion of a dream?
It's really strange. I mean, I don't know. I tell people, from time to time, I only ever set out to make a living writing comics. I only ever wanted to write comics. The fact that I could pay my mortgage from a room in my house while I'm typing at a keyboard on, working on a medium that I love, was the only thing I ever tried to achieve. And the fact that, I achieved that, and then all of this other, I call it stupid stuff that I never, expect. I never wanted a TV show. I was never oh my God, I really hope this turns into a TV show. I love comics, and so I was the fact that it's a comic is enough. But it's just beyond my wildest dreams, and it's just really weird. And, I'm very, very pessimistic, and, very negative most of the time. And so, I'm very happy that, my kids, are probably going to be okay, and I'm not going to be, starving anytime soon. So that's good. But I don't know how to read it. It's definitely bizarre. When a zombie tries to scare me on the street in San Diego, and it's a zombie promoting a show based on my comic, and they have no clue. I went by the AMC panel yesterday, and I was like, "Can I go in this door?" And they were like, "Sorry, sir, you have to go in and wait in line over here." And I'm like, "All right." I just love that there are people intimately involved in my thing that have no clue who I am. It's great.
I have not met him before today. And I like this guy.
well,
Now,
following up on that, now that you are in TV, and then you certainly have other comic projects, I sort of mentioned this last week, if you remember or not, but
I'll answer it the same way.
I want to see Battle
Watch.
Pope.
Battle Pope? I don't know.
I don't know if we can get AMC. But
I don't think that one's going to happen. I'm sorry. But Mr. Morrissey has no idea what Battle Pope is.
It's
My very first comic from when I was 20. I'll get you copies. It's
You,
hilarious.
you obviously stepped into the role of showrunner, and it's incredibly a high pressure position because this is the ratings king of the universe right now. Is it a little odd to kind of taking this big promotion at a time when the show is doing better than it's ever done, and so
maybe it would be if I hadn't been on the show for 2 years and working with everybody on it and producing episodes, and it really feels comfortable. I know all these people. I know how this show is made, and I love doing it. So it's a little different in as much as I have a lot more responsibilities, but with those responsibilities, it gets really exciting because I love the stories that I've been able to do on the show, and I'm loving the stories that we're able to do this year. The writers are doing amazing work, cast, the crew. I mean, you go to the first time I went to Georgia was to produce Pretty Much Dead Already, which was just an amazing experience. And I'm not the most outdoorsy fellow, and
Nope. I can vouch for that.
this crew, yes, and this crew and this cast is, in fact, some of the gear I was getting, Robert, was maybe
You
you
gonna
should...
tell that story?
No, we're not going to tell the whole
Can
story.
we tell the whole story?
Let's not do that. Let's just say, there was a lot of netting discussed. Anyways, I show up on set, pretty geared up,
He calls me into his office.
No, come on, no.
And he's
no,
got
no.
this
Oh
thing
my
open
God,
on his
no,
computer.
Please don't.
And it is a full body net suit.
This is all off the record, really.
And he's like, so if when I go for set, it's 3 years ago. You've grown as a person. It's good for people to know this.
I don't know if it's good for people to
He
know
says,
this,
he says this will be good, right? This will protect me from the bugs when I
I
go
think
there.
I was wary. I think I was looking for somebody to shake me from the
Sure.
plate.
And I said, Scott, you can't go to Georgia in a spacesuit. No one is going to respect
No,
you.
well, I will say, I didn't go. It wasn't that much further from that. And this crew, this cast, these producers were totally cool with me, totally supportive to me, totally excited about the story that I was hoping to tell, and that hasn't changed. And it means a great deal to me to see these people working under really, really hard conditions with only the motivation of telling a great story for the fans. It inspires me every day. So to go into work and to want to do your best to stay at the level of everybody else, it's a fantastic job. And to have come up from the show, I was watching the show first season, and I was watching it live. I was sitting through the commercials, as we all should. I was looking forward to it during the day.
Advertisers deserve it.
They deserve it too. But I was reading the book years and years and years ago. It's crazy. I mean, Robert is talking about, beyond his wildest dreams. I'm right there with him. Except when ticks are involved, then things get a little weird. Then things even out.
So Scott, how much do you pay attention to, having already worked on the show, the recaps that people write, the fan feedback, stuff like that? Because this show is so popular, and it kind of runs the gamut. People who love it, people who hate it, people who make fun of it, there's all sorts of reactions to it.
Who hates it?
Crazy, but
thank you.
Do you pay attention to that reaction, or is that something that you just want to say?
I mean, I can't say I completely don't look at it ever, because it's interesting, but as long as you don't get too deeply into it, and is also that you don't go in there looking with an agenda. Like, man, I want to see people that liked it, and I want to read all the things that people liked about it, or I want to see the people who hated it, and sort of build that up in my mind. I think you gotta. I respect it. It's part of the enthusiasm for the show. It's wonderful, but there is a line where you shouldn't let it influence you too much. I'm so psyched it exists, though. I'm so psyched that people. It's a part of their lives. I mean, this degree of difference has me here to doing that, to writing those recaps myself. So I respect it. I was psyched to be in Hall H today because I had an awesome seat. Like, that was cool. So, yeah, a little bit. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Can I get a picture? Can I get a quick picture, Robert? Hey, guys. David as well. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. I'm looking at your wallet.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah.